Paralysis by analysis, the most negative way that can stop you from making a decision. Hi, I'm Kathryn Sanford. I'm an author, coach, and a pretty fabulous recruiter. I'm going to share with you today my story about paralysis by analysis. What this means is I can't make decisions. Well, hang on a minute. I couldn't make a decision. I had many opportunities in my life where I just failed to make a decision. And why was this? Paralysis by analysis. This is a common problem that many people have. Not only me, and I'm glad I'm not the only one, but I did overcome it. So what would happen with paralysis by analysis? Well, what would happen with me is I remember this one time I had this fabulous opportunity and I knew that I had to step out of my comfort zone. I was going into a role where I had to really step up. And I like to have things, if I'm honest, really honest, I like to do things that come easy. And so when I'm required to step up, I start to self-doubt my confidence. And so when I was offered the role, and this is another thing we need to understand and I didn't realize, is that people see potential in you. So that's why they offer you roles, right? Because they see, oh, you can do this. But however, not me. Paralysis by analysis meant that I hummed and I ha'd. Can I do it? No, I can't. How much information? Am I going to be making a mistake? What if I fail? All of this stuff went on in my head. So what happened? I made no decision. Guess what? Lost the opportunity. It's probably one of my biggest regrets. I really think about things now and I think about why was it, particularly then when I look back, why was it that I couldn't make a decision? I was confused, I was fearful, and all these things. But by the end of the day, it was paralysis by analysis. So how did I overcome it? Wow, that's an interesting story. Did it happen overnight? No, it didn't. It took time, step by step, opportunity by opportunity. So I learned ways to frameworks, I suppose. I learned that there's particularly one which worked for me, which is what I call think, feel, know. So what this does is when you're presented with a situation or an opportunity or you have to make a decision on it, you say, how much information do I need to feel comfortable about making the decision? Now, some people need lots of information in their head. That's bad. You need to process it. So you need to have a little bit of data, do a little bit of research, and then you sort of use energy to decide how you feel about that information. And if it's feeling okay, you act on it, and that's no. You know what the answer is, you know what the decision is, and then you go make it, really. So think, feel, know was one framework I used to help me make effective decisions, or to make a decision. The other framework I used was in a book I read by Chip and Dan Heath called Decisive. And Decisive, in this book, these guys talk about situations and frameworks, different frameworks you can use to make decisions. And one of the frameworks, I suppose, that they used was spotlight. So what happens is when we have to make a decision or when we've got a problem, we focus on it. It's a spotlight, like I've got one here. I've got a spotlight on me and I'm trying not to focus on it. But what we do is we get so involved in the spotlight and what's happening in there that we forget everything around it. So I thought, yes, that's interesting. That's a great analogy as a spotlight. So whenever I have a situation where I have to make a decision, I think of spotlight. The other thing I think of, which I love, is confirmation bias. So what this means is, you know when you buy a car and it's a red Audi, and you don't really see them around before you bought them, but once you buy a red Audi, suddenly you're seeing lots of red Audis around. And so what happens is our mind is tuned into seeing things that we didn't see before. And so if we're going to have to make a decision or solve a problem, what we tend to do is focus on what we know. And everything we know about that subject keeps popping up. So avoid confirmation bias. What we have to do is we have to go and get contradictory opinions, which opens our mind up to other situations. So spotlight and confirmation bias and think, feel, know were 3 frameworks I use to help me overcome paralysis by analysis, because you don't want to lose as many opportunities I did, particularly that great job. I can't believe I did that, but I did, because of paralysis by analysis. So out of your head, into your heart, and then into your gut, which is think, feel, know, and take action and make the decision. Thanks very much, and we'll talk to you soon. We'll see you soon. Bye.